Don't these people just annoy you? Like, don't they just bore you? It's like they forget where Bafana Bafana was before this old man arrived. Like Kenya. Seriously. Let's start the show.
That's how it goes?
They keep asking about the best when they know it's me.
Okay.
Asking about the rest when they know it's me.
Straight in, I guess.
You know it's me.
What? Were you expecting Sheikh's Rampedi? I tell you something, I don't like that guy. Akimorate at all. And the reason being, he's always so political. He always wants to say the right things and all that. And he hasn't introduced you to me because I'm Renza. I'm the guy who doesn't care. I don't care about the sponsorships. I don't care about who's going to say what. I'm not going to praise all the teams. This past weekend, this guy tried to credit Hugo with what the transformation of Bafana Bafana and the world rankings of them climbing. I don't give a damn about that, man. This guy needs to give credit to Mamelodi Sundowns, give credit to Rulani Mokwena, and as well as to Jose Rivero for how Orlando Pirates is playing. Don't tell me about the bronze medal they got at the AFCON and all the football that they play. This guy even calls up players. Orlando Pirates calls up players. Maswangan is not even playing. China is not even playing. You give Mofokeng about 10-15 minutes. What kind of a guy is that? You call one player from Kaizer Chiefs. You think the others are not good enough, old man? Is that what it is? You think you're going to come and do that in our country? I don't care if this guy gets us up the world rankings. I don't care if this guy wins the AFCON. I don't care if this guy qualifies for another AFCON. He can win a trophy. For me, I don't care. All I worry about is the fact that this man has tarnished our football completely. All I want this guy is to get the hell out of here. A broadcaster and a presenter and the voice of SABC, Brian Mofokeng, is here. Yes, the legendary commentator is here. And I simply asked him, does the media play a role in the fact that there's still people who don't believe in Bafana Bafana?
All right, guys, another big guest on Playing the Field with Sheikhs, someone that I am actually happy to have, actually, because, you know, they don't get usually the praise, these people, that for the job that they do. A broadcaster, seen him do some presenting as well, the voice of SABC. I hope he will allow me to call him that. And the commentator, amazing commentator, Brian Mofokeng. How are you, sir?
Oh, it's an honor, Sheikhs, to be on your platform. I mean, I've marveled at your work, the work that you do every time. You know, I will check you out on social media, and I think you've come a long way. And we have to really pay and give you flowers while we still can.
Nah, man, I'm grateful. When I hear from people like you, then I'm like, okay, at least like we're doing something right. But I've always wanted to find out, man, was it always commentary that you were always wanting to do?
No, it was not. I mean, when I got into the broadcasting world, I was a DJ. Way back in the days, in my Josie FM days, I was known as DJ Pajero, you know. And then this is where most of the guys, you know, your DJ Spoos of this world, DJ Cleos, your Freshers, everybody else actually knew me as a DJ way back in the days. And somehow somebody, the SABC, had me doing a stint on a retail radio station called Jet FM, and a postman said, "Do you want to do some sports with us?" And like they said, the rest is history.
Amazing work. That's crazy. So every time when I hear these stories of you and you talk about the days of DJ Cleo, you talk about those days back in the, and I always think of how long have you been doing it for? Because a lot of people think like, you can get like a chance in 5 minutes and all that, you know?
Just before the 2010 FIFA World Cup, it was about 2009. Just before we started the 2010 FIFA World Cup, and really 2000 said we need to have an extra English commentator. My first gig was the 2010 AFCON tournament in Angola and the 2010 FIFA World Cup. You know, funny enough, whenever I look back at the FIFA World Cup, I just don't think the 2010, I don't think, you know, my younger self would have actually seen me do more matches at the FIFA World Cup than anybody in the country or in the world for that matter. You know, because I did more matches on radio or even on TV for any person. I did more matches than anybody else could actually imagine. So it was an unbelievable experience. I got to rub shoulders with some of my idols. I mean, I was I remember doing a game in Rustenburg where I met Martin Tyler, somebody I looked up to.
I certainly agree. And now, obviously, because you are a commentator, you're watching as much football as we are watching as well, as a fan, I'm sure. And tell me, what have you made of Hugo Bruce and Bafana Bafana? I mean, this story is almost 3 years now.
You know when he came into the country, because I had covered the tournament he won at Cameroon as a commentator. And I knew that when he arrived there also, people didn't understand him. He got in there and people were saying, nah, it's just another plumber. He's not going to be able to do well with the country. And he made some decisions that people questioned, until they started seeing, the work that was put behind the scenes, and I started seeing the results on the field of play. They all doubted him until he got to the podium and gave them what they've been missing for the longest of time. When he arrived in South Africa as well, I mean, I remember talking to Velile at some stage, and I was talking to some colleagues and say, you know what I love about him, I don't really agree with the selection, especially when he dropped Mshishi. For me, I was like, what is this guy doing? But what I loved about him is that he stuck to his guns, and they always say better is a life lived making mistakes, because you learn from the mistakes, you become a better person. He became a bigger person when he came out and said, I made a mistake by dropping Mshishi. I believe he's a good player. We need him in the squad. And then that for me just literally cleared everything. Whatever doubts I had on him, I just literally buried all of that. I said, this is the man we need in charge.
I mean, there's people that you say in terms of, like, you're right, he's clear on the mission, and also me, I've sort of bought into it. I now put the national team first. I don't look at club allegiances and all that. But now, when you still look around, I mean, we're on the verge of qualifying for our next AFCON as well. So this would be the second tournament that he qualifies for. And as well as we're above Nigeria in the World Cup qualifiers as well, you look at the fact that we got the bronze medal at the last World Cup too. Players are improving as well, and he's giving chances to other players from Polokwane City, Stellenbosch, like he's giving others a chance. But you still find people that say, no, but the football's not great. No, but he's not playing this one. No, but he's not this. I mean, what do you make of the fact that we still have naysayers even now? Do they forget where Bafana Bafana was before this man came?
I think the biggest problem that we have in South Africa, if you look at everywhere in the world, national teams were formed before clubs.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem we have in this country. Your Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs, your Mamelodi Sundowns, your Morocco Swallows of this world were popular before Bafana Bafana. So Bafana Bafana became an extension of what we support in a way as football lovers. It was never the other way around, where you become patriotic first for your national team before you support your club. In South Africa, it's vice versa. People are more, they're more, I'm looking for, the word would be, they are more loyal to their clubs than they would be to the national team. If the national team therefore incorporates their players, then they're happy. I mean, I can tell you, most of Chiefs fans who don't really like him that much, is because what he said to say, I just don't think that the team has enough quality to literally drop some players for them in the squad that we have currently. And it was all because of the results, the way the team was playing. The team didn't have direction. There were a lot of problems that happened at Kaizer Chiefs at that stage. And he was honest to say, how do I therefore drop a team that is consistently performing, that is Mamelodi Sundowns? How do I drop their players? Because when you look at any national team that has done well at anywhere in the world in the best stages ever, I think it's only different in Africa, but anywhere else in the world, teams that have done well have always had creme de la creme of that nation, or the best team that is performing will dominate the squad because that will be the nucleus of the team.
I mean, the funny thing is, do us as a nation tend to forget that a national team performance is probably far more critical than what your club would play. So, for example, you look at the nomination, Ronnie Williams for this Ballon d'Or award. I mean, let's be honest, it's the AFCON performances that really pushed for him to be seen there. The fact that Bafana Bafana finished in bronze place, and also when our national teams back in the day in the 90s, when they suddenly started to see players going overseas, it's because they were very competitive at the AFCON, and we started to see players going overseas. Do we sometimes just forget, guys, it's actually really critical that our national team performs very well, and we put our club sides aside, I guess.
It goes back to the media space.
Mm.
You know, I think in the media we are not doing our job as we're supposed to. You know, the educational part of it is very important. You know, and some of us in the media space are somehow aligned to certain teams in a way, and the reporting is somehow swayed in a way the way we deliver certain things, and that also becomes a problem because when the people in the media space are also want to be celebrities or celebrities on their own. You know, they're looking at securing the bag at the same time. Unlike I'm not a journalist. You know, there's people that are colleagues that I know who are journalists, and you'll sometimes sit in a press and think to yourself, "What is this guy talking about?" But this is just how it is. And at the end of the day, I always look at majority. It's only a few who still go deeper and actually want to find out the story. Majority of our stuff are press releases. A media company, a club sends us a press release. We take that as gospel truth. We don't really probe and say, but I mean, the point now I was asking last week before Bafana played, I said, have you really gotten the real story around the Sundown saga? Why is Mukwena dropped? Why is Kuli Somodao dropped? Why are all of those? The coach highlighted some stuff and said, if you don't deliver for me, you don't do. So have anybody said to the coach, but okay, show us exactly what is it that you want from them that they're not giving you versus what they gave the previous coach. Nobody's actually probed and went that direction. You've always just taken what the coach have said and ran with the story and then created the narrative as you wanted to. The video was training of Tebo Mokoena laughing in a press conference where Mangomit was sitting. That for me is a video, a clip that was probably, you don't even know what, you could have been laughing about something. You know, sometimes the coach might say something and think to yourself, yeah, and you laugh about it. But the way it was actually taken out, it was taken out of context. Because somebody might just look at it and say, oh, he's laughing at the coach. The coach is an idiot. Has anybody asked him to say, what are you smiling about at that stage when the coach was saying this?
Is our media sort of sometimes fighting for the limelight instead of actually fighting for the stories for the people to read?
It's a numbers game. You all know the breaking news is the order of the day. Breaking news, verified or not verified, I mean, somebody somehow, because of the linkage you start having with certain clubs, you start having stories before somebody else has get it, and this is where you become the reliable source of some of the stuff that comes out. But do you find a media nowadays? I mean, not everybody. I know a lot of guys who actually go out there and probe and ask those questions that some coaches don't like to be asked, and you find a coach just getting a bit arrogant or snappy and an oppressor. But over and above that, if you go to a game now, Shakes, a Chiefs versus Polokwane City, that media tribune is empty. All right? You arrive on a Sundowns Chiefs or in a Pare on a Derby day. You've seen people you've never seen ever in your life.
I see. So yeah, I mean, I totally agree with it in terms of like how the space, it needs to be a little bit more. There needs to be a little bit more respect before coming into the space, because obviously some of us, we do respect the people who did it before, and also the fact that it's craftsmanship as well. But one thing I wanted to ask you, man, was something that needs to be spoken about. I think after the World Cup, I'm not sure if Hugo Broos is gonna be around, or we're not necessarily talking about it. The successor for him. Because he is obviously heading towards 80. And I don't know if he's going to be with us very long. I mean, who is the potential successor for you? Are we as a nation doing enough to sort of prepare the next person, per se?
You know, I don't want to talk or speak on behalf of Safa, but I believe now, if you go back to the Sheikh's Mashaba days, I knew the structure then. I can tell you that. I knew that the Bafana coach was Sheikh's Mashaba. Owen Dagama was the under-23 coach. Thabo Sinong was at under 20.
Yeah.
Uli Finseki was under 17. So each and every one deputized for the other one.
Yeah.
And all progressed to the senior team. All right? And the moment Hugo Broos came in with his staff member, then they roped in Helen Keller to sit on a bench with him. You know? When I sit down, sometimes I always look at Halum Kelele and I look at Ramurebudi for an example.
Yeah.
And I say Morena is ahead because of how he's actually gone about his business as a coach. I still believe a coach like Peter still have an unfinished business with Bafana Bafana. I still believe a Benny McCarthy, for an example, for me, should be roped in to actually bring and be able to bring some of his experience that he's actually gained from overseas to come into the squad. Not really lobbying for any person in per se, but I'm just saying there should be a plan now. We should be seeing that now. I think immediately after the AFCON, we should have already seen the next person sitting on the bench already or being incorporated into the squad for us to be able to see what we want to do going forward.
I certainly agree with that. I totally agree with that. And the final question that I have for you, man, tell me something, because you're in the space. I was going to ask you where you think South African football is, but because you're in the space, because you're passionate about this space, I was going to ask, where is South African broadcasting for you right now?
Oh, it's crazy, eh? It's crazy, huh? you know, when I was growing up, I mean, we used to listen to the radio,
yeah.
You know, and it was radio or going to the stadium as a kid growing up, and it moved to be television became the big thing then with the numbers and everything else, because now people are starting to watch the game, and therefore you can't sell them rubbish anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching the same game you're watching, and I'm also reading just like you are. You know? So that becomes different. Now, with the world of social media expanding and the digital space also increasing and becoming bigger, it means even broadcasters need to find better way and even slightly lesser. They need to spend lesser, but also still be able to produce the same quality or even better quality than they've done, which becomes very challenging.
Yeah.
Talent rotation, talent retention, I beg your pardon, is a very important thing, one. Yeah. Number two, and it's also the product you actually take out, because people have options now. You can't just sell them anything.
That's facts. That is facts. I mean, you're right. You're certainly right. And you see the growing of the game, and now also social media is just letting a lot more people come into the game, and something that we are grateful for. But you're right in terms of having to uplift it in some kind of way. Brian, I just want to take this time to say thank you, man, for being a guest on Playing the Field with Chicks. And also, I mean, when I hear you speak, one of the things I'm learning is, this guy's been here for some time, you know? So I'm hearing you speak, and I'm just like, with Carol Way, and it was in 2008 Way, and out Martin Tyler here, and I'm just like, but one thing for sure is, if you're now getting your fruits of your labor now, we're starting to hear you a lot more on these media platforms, and I'm grateful for that. And for me, it's just a testament that, guys, patience and keep working hard.
Yeah, it's not always easy, man. You know, the challenges, you know, nobody knows what happened behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, show must go on, and you need to deliver. I think the most important thing that even Zaibo taught me when I started off was, remember that the bosses are the listeners and the viewers. Never, ever shortchange them.
I'll definitely will take that as a note. And I want to say thank you. Please do keep well, and I'm sure we will bump into each other again.
No, thank you very much, man. Thanks, and keep doing what you're doing, my guy. You're doing very well.
Placing the right bets on the right games. Win big with Shakes Rampedi on Bet of the Week. Guys, I really want this international break to end. Hey, like, it's so boring. Like, I'm watching movies, I'm taking walks. I'm just like, I just don't know what to do. But the bet slip is here, and I've only picked games for the weekend, which is the club football, and that's what I'm excited about. Bournemouth going up against Arsenal straight win. Bayern against Stuttgart, Bayern straight win. PSG against Strasbourg, PSG straight win. Celta Vigo going up against Real Madrid straight win. Wolves against Manchester City, they in bad form, last place, Man City straight win. Atletico Madrid versus Leganés. I've gone with Atletico Madrid straight win. And the last one, the big one, is Liverpool against Chelsea, both teams to score. Now, the odds, you will not believe this, 12.99 with just 150 rand. You can get over 2,000 rand back. I mean, surely you want to join me, right? But before, you have to click on the link below. Remember to practice responsible betting at betway.co.za. Guys, club football is back this weekend. I am so, like, The only thing that makes me upset is the fact that there's another one in November. So club football is gonna come back for 2 minutes. But if Bafana wins, it makes it better, right? That's all that matters. Bafana, 5 goals every time, that's all that matters. But before you do go, please like, please subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified for future episodes.
Lalela, ufuna ukutshela indaba. Uyawazi umlilo ovusa ilangabe lothando olungapheli. You see, it was this game that turned boys into giants. This game was once our proudest weapon of defiance. When our history was still written in black and white, football refused to listen when it was told to keep quiet. We had powerful names that must never grow old. Defenders would stop nonsense, and strikers that would make your blood run cold. Through all this time, ibhola likaze lishiye, sikhule nalo, kasi to kasi. As I'm a 90s, sokutshela ngo-Black Jesus. But do they know how everything stopped when Jomo stood on business? Uyabakhumbula Oscar Nosporo, who dazzled before Oloch Nomajoro. Even today's aces inherited the name from those who came before. All of them are legends forevermore. But we can't only look back at what was done before. Just remember, these vast arenas used to be nothing but despair and dust. In football, forever we trust. Usavutha lo mlilo. Buza kwabaziyo, bazokutshela. Lisegazini, forever.